today, Lindell TV was part of the rotation in the press pool. So we were given the opportunity to go in. Kara Castronova, as you probably just saw, was inside the Oval Office with President Trump. And if I'm not mistaken, she actually got 2 questions that she was able to ask him. So it was a wonderful day for Lindell TV. On top of that question with Peter Navarro, getting in the press pool is tough. Not everyone is awarded that opportunity, but we've been so blessed here at Lindell
Right.
TV to get in now for our second time. Typically, this has been
Right.
reserved for legacy media outlets, so it is completely unprecedented for an alternative media outlet like Lindell TV to be in there, and that is only because of our great president and them opening up the access to new media outlets like Lindell TV that we've been given this opportunity. So it's such a blessing, and we're so excited about it, of course.
Yeah, and it is, everybody. What a blessing, because I'll tell you, remember, I've said it before, you have all the attack media and, all that, you can call them legacy media, but you also have, it doesn't matter what side they're on politically, because we all know Fox News, Newsmax and Salem Media, they don't talk about our election platform. So it'll be very interesting to see. I just hope that we're in there during blessed when he's ever talking about elections, of the election platforms, getting rid of the machines, getting the paper ballots hand counted, and because it'll be interesting to see if Fox News even shows it. So it says it's a blessing for us at Lindell TV, but also a blessing for everybody out there, because we're going to report anything. We're going to ask those questions. I know before they said, "Oh, you're asking soft questions." No, we're asking questions that people want to hear, that people want to know about, and not attack questions. There's a difference between an attack question and a question. I do want to say this, Allison, our voice now, you guys, and by the way, Lindell TV is publicly traded at MLMC. That's our stock symbol. You guys don't want to get involved, go there. MLMC, Mike Lindell Media Corp. And we've gotten we're on the OTC market. But I want to say this. I seen it yesterday on, I believe it was Fox News, and I don't. You guys don't say it. Mike, you're watching Fox. Um, yeah. I happened to be, somebody was watching, and I go, wow. They go, you got to come here and see this. And so I ran the other room, and here's what it was. They were showing the other outlets, MSNBC and CNN, both of them. And here's what they were reporting. They had their hosts on there. Maybe it was a guest, not the actual host, but it was a far lefty, or whatever on there. And they're actually saying good things about things the president has done. And one of them they put out is they said, if you're in Washington D.C., why would you not want to get rid of these murders and get rid of the murder? You know what I mean? And the MSC host at the MSC, I think it was I can't think of his name, but anyway, he kind of went back and going, you should say those good things about Donald Trump on our show. You guys, and I have said this before. I really believe, as we see this change in where people are getting their information, and like here on Lindell TV, and by the way, we're also connected to Vocal. That's our social media app. They're both owned. We're one and the same. Vocal. Get that app, vocl.com. And if you're watching Lindell TV, click on the upper button and get a part of that family. It's like Facebook on steroids. But I've said it all along. As these, maybe they're going to do it because they're losing their audience. You get your CNNs of the world and your MSNBCs and your other left-wing outlets, and that includes print too. I've noticed a lot of prints when I came out and won this last lawsuit, they actually showed me smiling and a good picture of me. Hey, Mike Lindell won. Mike was right. His data was right. You wouldn't have seen that 2 years ago. They'd have had my face going like this, and they would have had all kinds of Mike, this crazy guy doing this, and they'll pull stuff from that pose right there. I guarantee it. What I just did, I don't care. But anyway, I've said it all along. As they lose viewership, and then some of them start seeing even the hosts and stuff and the reporters that have to listen to their bosses because they write the paycheck, I think a lot of them are going to just be torn that they can't keep spewing out lies of the great things our president's doing and trying to change the numbers. And oh, DC isn't the worst country or the worst city for murders and stuff. Heck, look at Detroit. Look at you're pointing to other Democrat run cities, and I don't
Yeah.
usually say Democrat, Republican, but you're coming to, that's what they're pointing to. And then they did a big hit job on this other station that the president, I think they named 5 of the cities he was thinking about cleaning up, and they were all black mayors. Well, who cares what color the mayor is? I mean, that was just bizarre. They're trying to make a race thing out of this. I'm really sorry that they happen to be black. But the thing is, why are you going to clean up the cities? Because they got the most murders, like Detroit, and they got the most murders and crime. He doesn't start. You
Absolutely.
know what I love about our president? He doesn't start at let's work it out here and see how this works out. You go right into the worst and then you work your way down. You go right into it, and him and I
Yes.
agree on a lot of that. We go right into the fight. But I just thought that was great that you're starting to see the media on the left actually they've seen some common sense and they're actually speaking out because even their viewership they can't
Mhm.
keep brainwashing them with lies because they're seeing it right in front of them. They had a guy on there that he was a far lefty. He goes, I'm a Democrat. I'm here. I've lived in D.C. all my life, but I'm sorry. I got a friend. I watched him get murdered across the street. That's what he was saying. What's wrong
I
with
know.
cleaning up and getting rid of crime? And what I want to say, so Allison, with all that, you guys have been there now for 3-4 months, and I know when I've been there with you. I mean, do you see? I actually seen some kind of a little bit of jealousy, maybe that hey that we're allowed there. That hey this new media. I mean, do you see anything from your Newsmaxes or your Foxes of the world or your CNN? Are you guys treated okay, or do they just say have they accepted you by now?
Well, I think they have, begrudgingly accepted that we are here because we're here every day and we're very, very dedicated to getting the truth out there since most of these other outlets here refuse to do that. But Mike, I'll never forget the day that you were here with us at the White House just most recently. You were calling out Newsmax and Fox who are in these media tents right next to us. And they were giving us some
Yeah.
real dirty looks, which means you struck a chord, and that's what you're doing right there. But yeah, I think, initially they were very upset and rather shocked to see new outlets, alternative outlets let into the White House. They definitely treat us like we're subpar here. I've had a couple of the fake news outlets come over and analyze our equipment that we're using because it's, might not be as top notch as theirs, that they, have millions and millions of dollars to spend on all of their, high end fancy equipment. But look at us, we're getting the job done. We're doing a great job and we are here to tell the truth. And I think that's what gets them the most. To your point, Mike, about the Democrats finally coming forward and admitting that the crime here in DC is a real problem. I've heard multiple stories now. I think this is very interesting that the very people that are here on this lawn right now reading their script saying that crime isn't a problem here in DC, we all feel very safe. Well, they're actually lying through their teeth because they've told a number of the people in the press corps here that they actually really don't feel safe coming to and from work. They actually don't feel safe even leaving their house because it's so dangerous. Yet then when they go on camera and they read off their scripts, they tell the exact opposite story and
Yeah.
perpetuate lies with these fudge numbers that are totally inaccurate and completely misreported. They're a bunch of liars and they're being exposed right now. So kudos to them for finally admitting the truth. We don't need the fake news to tell us what we all see and experience every day. Okay, crime in DC is horrific. It's the
Yeah.
fourth worst in the country, and we don't need the fake news to tell us that. But I'm glad they're finally catching on.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can personally say this. I, even with my call it fame, whatever you want to call it, I'm not being grandiose here, but I'm recognized everywhere. Even before all this political stuff with the My Pillow and with my addiction platforms, I was out doing speaking around the country. But I've told people I can go, and if you read my book, everybody, I was an ex-crack addict. I've been in, you name the inner city in this country, and I've probably been there. I've had guns to my head, swords to my throat. You can read all about here on Lindell TV. We actually have my audio book for free. You guys can listen to it. It really will, um, help you. I believe that'll help people to not give up, to not, and to find out where, I was able to make it through all these 14-year death experiences, all these things. But what I was going to say is, just recently, so I'm in Las Vegas. And by the way, I spent a lot of time in Las Vegas, and I was recently in Detroit, LA. I mean, you name the city, I've been there just in the last 4 years. And I'm not talking, I don't have bodyguards, which is a lot of people say I'm nuts. Um, and I walk in. Well, here, I guess I did it early on in 21. I'll tell everybody this. When I was the number one target because I was raising my hand saying, hey, we've got a problem, the stolen election. I would, as I was flying all over the place to warn Secretary of States, Attorney Generals, and so on. I remember getting in and before I lost my plane or had to sell my plane. I had a vehicle would pull up and I'd have these security. It was either or maybe Secret Service, but it was usually security. And the guy I do all my own driving. He happened to have a mustache, and I go, no, I do my own driving. And he sits in the passenger seat, and I said, buddy, if I were you, I would cover up my face, cover up my mustache. I said, they only shoot the passenger. And he got all nervous like this. And I said, I'm just kidding. They'll shoot us both. Well, anyway, as I was joking that I was, but back then, um, it was a little different. Once I made it through that and the word got out that, hey, we're not, he keeps talking, even though we're destroying his company and everything. But the real people out there, as I go into these cities, I don't feel any danger. I didn't feel danger. I'm walking down the streets of, in Detroit and stuff, and I didn't feel the danger. The other day when I was in DC, I had to have a meeting with somebody outside of right on the edge of DC, but we were downtown. Um, we were downtown, and then we got to, and I'm not even sure where it was in DC. It was within DC, but in a kind of off the trail, a little bit out of where you see all the hustle and bustle of the city. And I was approached not by one, but by three individuals where I felt, you know what? If they do something here, I'm not protected. I could feel that you know what? I'm on my own. And I had to do because of my situation, some very fast talking to get to, I know what their agenda was. And the one would just spewed out hate right out of the gate, And so there's certain places that, I know, like I'm in Detroit. I could be there in the middle of the night and I feel more safer than I did. And I'm not saying DC's worse or whatever, but when you don't have the police protection, and in a lot of these places like Minneapolis now in my home state, that's the first thing that they did back in the summer of 2020 was burn down the precinct and try and eliminate the police force. Well, I grew up in Minnesota. I spent so much time down there, and my friends that were down there that had rebuilt their businesses and they got burned to the ground and back then, and they had got out of the drug world and built these businesses. Well, um, one of the things, if I do run, and now I'm going to really switch gears on you, if I do run for governor of Minnesota, which I'm very strongly considering, everybody, one of the first things I would do is, hey, is this what the president's doing every day to make things safe? I would announce right from the precinct in Minneapolis, going, how nonsensical is it that you don't, even if you do have police, if they're not going to do anything and they're not going to help, or they're ordered to stand down, if they're ordered to stand down, what do you need them for? Your people feel unsafe. So you're right, Allison. They're lying. The media is protecting and lying. But the citizens, I just seen it yesterday, they're coming out there that live in DC. Some of these hosts, they're like he did on MSNBC, he said straight out, hey, that's not a bad thing. Why would they not want this? And then they say things like on TV, like Donald Trump could cure cancer tomorrow.
Yeah.
And cure cancer, and they would say something derogatory about it. You know what I mean? And by the way, that brings up another thing here. Brings up another thing, a thing that we're going to be announcing next week, everybody. I don't know about the governor thing next week. We'll be figuring that out soon. But everyone knows the fentanyl, um, what's happened with the fentanyl, and I'm going to have a big announcement on that next week. Really big, you guys. As you know, I was an ex-crack cocaine addict, and I was approached 4 months ago by this amazing issue and solution. And I'm telling you, this is world changing, absolutely world changing. I haven't had a chance to look at it, and I did the last week here. Once we finally figured out that her got my pillows secure as it keeps getting attacked. But anyway, that's for another show. Allison, why don't you do you have so you say Kara got a question for Peter Navarro? Can we roll that and then you can comment on it? But why don't we roll that question? You're doing such an amazing job, and this was Kara Day, I guess. She got all three, but I tell you, I watched you with the mayor in person, and I'll tell you, I got two of the best correspondents in the history of the world at Lindell TV. Everybody, that's a fact. So, can we roll the Peter Navarro one with Kara?
Mr. Navarro, Kara from Lindell TV. How are you?
How's Mike doing?
He's doing very well.
right.
Thank you so much. My question on the farm initiative, how many American jobs specifically, do you guys have any information on how much that will create?
I'm going to leave that up to our Council of Economic Advisors. But what we're doing here is creating trillions of dollars of investment and millions of jobs. We'll get a good chunk of that. I think that this whole continuous advanced manufacturing revolution that this will help move forward will be a great thing for America. But the big beneficiary here is going to be Americans who need medicines. And this question earlier about what do you tell Americans about price? Look, if you can't get the medicines you need because foreigners are controlling that and using it to try to blackmail America, that's an untenable situation.
So that was a great question from Kara, basically asking about foreigners using medicine to blackmail America. This has been going on for quite some time. I guess the most recent and notable example of this would be during COVID, when we had to, for some reason, turn to China for the cure, right? But that was a massive failure, which is why President Trump is implementing the tariffs to bring wealth and prosperity and independence back to America. We need to be far less dependent on these other countries for our needs. And I think that's exactly what's happening. And the tariffs have proven to be an incredible success. I mean, we've already brought billions into the country, with billions more expected in the next coming months here. It's been amazing. And I think that needs to continue to be a focus. We've got to get the priorities back to America. And that's what's happening now, thanks to President Trump.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys, so there you see what I want to kind of focus on here too is I'm going to tell you the importance, like you're seeing, of Lindell TV here and us having a presence at the White House now and at the Capitol. But I want to, why don't we go right into the other two questions? We're inside the Oval Office, everybody, too, Kara was today in the press school. I want to go through those questions, and then I'm going to tell you, everybody, towards the end here, what Facebook is doing to Lindell TV and what we're going to do about it. This guy is the biggest attack on I believe on a network that I've ever heard about. And you guys, we're going to talk about that. But let's roll those two questions, or at least one other question if we have it. Tyler.
What it does, it makes it totally secure and powerful for the people that are on it and need it. And we're very proud of the job he's done, one of the best.
Kara Castro from Lindell TV. How are you today, sir? Democrats like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren continue to peddle the lie and the claim that you're trying to cut social.
Can we turn up the volume?
Despite your repeated promises to protect it. Why do you think they keep pushing this misinformation and literally terrorizing the elderly in America that sadly keep watching the very misleading mainstream media?
I love your question. I should have called you almost first, but I love his questions also always. But it's such a good question. It's so vicious what they do. Elizabeth Warren said she was an Indian. We call her Pocahontas. She's a liar. She lied her whole career. Based on the fact that she was an Indian, she was able to get into certain colleges, get certain jobs. get into certain universities to work there. She's a liar and a mean person. She's a nut job. I watched her the other night. She's all hopped up endorsing a communist in New York City. And she was all excited and jumping up and down. She's got to take a drug test. She really does. She's got to take a drug test. There's no way somebody can act that way and be normal. What she's done to our financial institutions, she destroys people. You know that you had a lot of great banks in the Midwest and banks that loaned to farmers and others, and they went out of business. She put them out of business. Stone cold mean. Banks that were open 150 years, family banks that supplied the farmers and manufacturers and others, and she put them out of business. She's a mean, horrible human being. Bernie Sanders is Bernie Sanders. I don't mind him so much. He's just a liberal guy, very liberal guy. He's a wacky guy. He's still sharp. I got to tell you, he's 86 or 87 or something. He's still sharp. You compare that to Joe Biden, it's, sort of what happened. So I don't mind Bernie Sanders. With him, you know what you're getting. You're getting a guy, he's a nasty guy, but he's somebody that, I don't know if I call it a fastball, but he's able to throw the ball pretty
Very good. Should we just cut it at
He was totally on the opposite side of things. I will say this, the biggest
yeah. Okay, you guys, that goes on, and the president gives a very long answer. But my point being, and we're going to have that posted to our Lindell TV with all the audio there and the answer in its entirety. But I wanted to get back on here to tell you. And then I believe she got another question too. So, by you guys spreading the word about Lindell TV as we're expanding our voice. Okay, this is what's so important right now. You guys all know that I won the big $5 million challenge. I won that. Federal judges overturned it. A federal court in Minnesota, unheard of. The odds are astronomical to get this overturned. It was so important. The president congratulated me. He knows how important it was because as we fight to secure our elections on the ground level and him on the way down, they can't point to there and say Mike Lindell's evidence is no good. Wrong. It's great. But now we can take that to be able to throw out the Colorado case where I have to go back to, and now we get a new trial there where this is the one where my pillow won, but they went after me and get a new trial because she introduced that evidence that shouldn't have been there in the first place because it was still an appeal. So it's like going to jail for something you didn't do, and then they charge you with something while you're in jail. You shouldn't have been in jail in the first place. It's disgusting. So anyway, that was a direct attack on Lindell TV also. But now here's what I'm saying. Our voices, this is all about suppressing our voice. So all the good things that keep coming out, as we have manifested the last 4.5 years, Lindell TV, I believe, leading the way, and Vocal, which is our Facebook app. You guys got to get that, get involved. We're publicly traded MLMC. But here's what's going on right now. You can't believe this. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, and Allison, I was telling, now you guys had other problems even before you knew about this, I believe. We had found out that Facebook was governing, and from our social media gal, Jessica, and then we were getting reports that everybody that I was getting, your great reporting was getting suppressed. When we would report you guys this stuff, you and Carol from the White House and all this information the public needs to hear, they were suppressing it and they were straddling it and not getting out. My own personal page, or it's my fan page, everybody, I used to have 500,000 people easy, maybe upwards, maybe more than that. I don't even remember. And when I would go live, it sends out notifications to everybody you're going live. Well, it would be 250,000. Well, back then, back in the day, I went to go live in the spring of 21, and 10 people. And we went around my office and or my factory going, hey, did you get the live alert? No. So if you don't send out someone's going live, that's suppressing. What he did to my pillow before the 2020 election, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, said, I'm sorry, my pillow, we're not going to take your ads if Mike Lindell is in the ad. You guys, I couldn't have the ad of me holding the pillow. They just removed me. I had to have just a pillow. And that's true, just a stack of pillows. It's disgusting. So anyway, what Mark Zuckerberg then, what Facebook did, this we found out that they've been taking Lindell TV and condensing or whatever, or not getting our reach. It just stops, especially Allison with you guys' reports from the White House and stuff, or when we're speaking out about something like I don't know, electronic voting machines, or saying things good about our president. Well, this just happened, everybody. I didn't know that we had all these problems. I know, Allison, you had heard about it, right? On that, the
Oh
calls.
yeah.
I've been so busy. I've been so busy, you guys, with, like I say, with my pillow being attacked and my Lindell Recovery Network and all the attacks going on these last 3 weeks have been some of the biggest in the history in my history and of my pillow and others. Well, in the meantime, Lindell TV has been attacked, but it's in a very secret way, done with computers on the back end and everything. Well, here's what happened this week. Earlier in the week, um, guy that works for me works for Lindell TV also, and he indirectly, and he called me up. He says, "Mike, we got a big problem." Actually, it was Pat Colbeck, and you guys, a lot of you guys out there know him. He's just amazing. He's helped me through for the past 4 or 5 years now. And he said, "Mike, look what they're doing to Lindell TV on Facebook." And we put up a post. And I wish we had a screenshot of it. I don't have. I don't have. We're gonna go through all this on next week, maybe tomorrow, but maybe for sure by Monday. Give you a full report of what we're going to do too. Because here's what he did. You put a post up, and then you put here. Check out lindelltv.com, and you got a picture of, let's say it's Kara and Allison from the White House, whatever there. It's just and what Zuckerberg did was covered up and said contains false information. So he put our network, he said our whole network is false information, and they keep doing it on Facebook. You know what?
Unbelievable.
No, that's unheard of. It's never happened. And I want to tell you, Alice, this will probably be news to you. I don't know if you know this, but back in the day when starting with the China virus, this is where all this really started, where you had Facebook fact checkers. The top one was called Lead Stories. His name is Alan Duke. Alan Duke had four guys that worked for him. One of them being overseas, his main guy Martin, that works out of Belgium, and one of the things I put up back in the day on Facebook was a thing that happened to Ben Carson and stuff that I had that helped the virus. I helped you. It was
Oh wow.
it was just like your ivermectins of the world. Well, Facebook. This guy's name. This actually, I'm going to tell you who it was. It was David Harris Jr. They actually put up he put up a post how this helped Ben Carson, and Facebook fact checkers covered up and said contains false information. And
Wow.
but it was true. So we got a hold of back then I got a hold of Lead Stories and Alan Duke. And Alan Duke checked in, and we got Ben Carson, a good friend of mine, on the phone. So they put an apology. Now they took it off. They said we were wrong. We checked into it. But here was the ramifications of that, everybody. David Harris Jr. had, I believe at that time, almost 2 million followers. Facebook took away 1.5 million of them because of that false flag, and they never gave them back. So you were
Wow.
already blown full of holes and censored. Now I want to tell you this. So Alan Duke and I, we duked it out, okay? No pun intended. Here's what happened. So old Alan Duke, you get up to, remember Facebook? I just told you they took it out of me in the camera with a pillow. I couldn't be in my pillow ads. Then of course we had the big stolen election of 2020. As we rolled in to 21, everybody knows the movie I put up. And by the way, the movies are all posted here on Lindell TV. We're not shy here. Absolute proof was put up. And Facebook and everybody went crazy. They cover that up. And Facebook, it even says contains nudity and porn. I'll never forget it. That flag. That's what came up over it. Now I called up Alan Duke, who I knew by then, and said, what are you doing? What are you doing? He goes, I didn't put up that up there. We just covered it with a false thing. Someone else switched that message. And I'm going, okay, Alan, I don't believe you. And I didn't at the time, right? So then Alan Duke, after Absolute Proof came out, then we get to absolute interference. I filmed it down in Tennessee, everybody with Brandon House. We filmed it. We had people come in from all over. It was under secrecy. We were at protection there and everything because we had to get this information out to all of you. We filmed absolute interference. It took 3 days working through the night to get this filmed. We got it filmed and we sent it out live. It's a 2-hour movie. When that hit Facebook, Alan Duke covered it up in 3 minutes. He wasn't even able to watch it. He couldn't have. It's impossible. So I went back on air, back on Lindell TV at the time, and I started this on air. It was a 5-hour rant. If you have, I'm gonna pull that out of the archive someday. I was so upset because I'm trying to save the country and help the country, and here's this guy cover this up and said it's false without even watching it. Now he covered up the whole movie, right? So now we went after Alan Duke and these stories, and his cell phone was on his webpage. So we posted it, and he forwarded all those cell phones into my cell phone because we had each other's cell phone. I forwarded back. I mean, this was an all-out battle, but it wasn't funny at the time. It was horrific that I couldn't get the word out because of Facebook. Now, everybody, I want you to fast forward to this week. So this week, when Mark Zuckerberg, everybody, remember, he scooted on down to Mar-a-Lago and he gave some money there, and he said, I've changed my evil ways. He's did after Donald Trump won. Well, what's he supposed to say? We got to dig into this corrupt guy. Here's what he did this week, everybody. He covered up. He's not only we find out, and we have all the data where he suppressed Lindell TV, a publicly traded company. And now this week, anytime we put a post up, on Facebook, which I'm going to put this post up there, he covers up, says contains false information. That means the whole network. It's not a post about machinery. He's covering up the whole. Lindell TV is false. Okay. Now I don't know about you, but you know what? I'm not one to sue people. I'm not one that usually gets sued. I'd say pile it up like cordwood. But I'm telling you, we got big news coming. I am going on the offense. You are not going to suppress our voice at Lindell TV and this country, Mark, Facebook, Zuckerberg. You're not going to happen. Meta, whoever's ordering the evil, who's ever ordering this attack, it's going to end, but it's going to end when the whole world knows about it. We're going to have all the information for all of you. Tell all your friends. You don't want to miss this. I might have it by tomorrow, but more than likely, I'm going to promise Monday. We'll do it on Monday. Everybody will have all the information by Monday of what we're going to do, and it's going to be big. That's all I can say. I'm tired of it. We will not be suppressed when we finally have the greatest, I believe, the greatest network ever put together, and our voice is going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And Allison, you realize this affects all of your fans that have bought into Lindell TV, that have bought in, that publicly traded. Maybe they bought stock. ML. I want you, all of you can all be a part of Lindell TV. We're publicly traded. So this guy's attacking not only the people that have got the stockholders of Lindell TV, it affects all the great things that the president has let all these other networks, including Lindell TV, right into the Oval Office. So we have transparency, our First Amendment right of free speech. And you got one guy, Mark Zuckerberg, over there. I don't even think any of the other ones are doing that. You hear? I mean, remember, we have Getter, Gab now, Telegram, True Social. You got Vocal, all these platforms that sprung up, everybody. And so there's other places for people to get their information, not just at Facebook, but it's hard to change a paradigm of people. And Facebook has a big voice. And when that voice says, Lindell TV is no good, do you know what I just said to you, Allison, before when I said we have to take, or that people on the left, as we get through these 4.5 years, that where people, their eyes are getting open of how the media lies to them. They're being lied to and brainwashed and brainwashed and brainwashed. And now when they can see good things done, by the president, things that manifest to help all people, and we can report it. And we can report problems also like electronic voting machines. You don't think that this is absolutely an effort to just destroy once again the First Amendment right of free speech and destroy this platform. I think part of it might be too because competition. We have vocal.com, everybody. Vocal.com, it's like Facebook on steroids. And in fact, I'm going to have Renee on here. Maybe I'll have her on tomorrow or Monday too, as we talk about this could be another reason that old Suckerbuck is attacking Lindell TV, because it's also attacking Vocal, VOCL.com. You guys go to the App Store. We're on both App Stores. I'm going to tell everybody this. We're on both App Stores. We're on Roku, Fire Stick, some TV broadcasts Midwest. We've got I think it's up to like 8 million people a month our reach. Your people can watch on Twitter, on Rumble, all these places. And Allison, I'm just telling you, I will not let them steal your voice. So you got my word on that. We're going to be fighting, and we're going to be fighting, and we're going to win. And so everybody, what can you all do to help out with that? Well, one of the things you can do if you want to help out with all the stuff, you want to go to mypillowtrial.com. There you can help out with that. That's our voice. We have to win that appealed, which now we even have a chance to do to get a new trial because they try to say Mike's evidence no good. But as far as Lindell TV, just spread the word. We fight back with letting people know about it and letting know that we have, I believe, you and Kara are the best two correspondents ever to walk through those gates there at the White House behind you. Seriously.
Well,
And
thank you so
you
much,
guys,
Mike. That
yeah.
that means
The
a
only
lot, and
disclaimer,
we're
hey
so
guys, I'm
grateful.
going to say this. I do want to say this. You guys, I want to say a disclaimer here. There is one problem. If you start watching these two, you're going to get hooked and you're going to just keep going. You're going to want it every day. It's going to be very addicting.
And then when we get freed of the censorship, it's going to be even better because then people can actually watch our stuff. But Mike, I just want to say I'm so
Right.
grateful for you entering this fight, not only with everything you've done to this point, but now this censorship issue. It's been so critical. It's very sadly impacted so many Americans across the country. So many people were just nuked off the face of the planet during the COVID era, myself included. I had 4 Instagram accounts deleted with thousands and thousands of followers. So obviously that's linked to Facebook because it's all owned by Meta. So I know about the censorship
Yeah.
all too well. It's been devastating. It's really been a coordinated effort to suppress speech, suppress truth. And notice how Facebook never censors fake information that perhaps should be censored. I'm all for free speech, but if fake news media outlets are actually and knowingly spreading lies, then they should get a little alert on their page too, but they never will because the two go hand in hand, and it's far past time that we gain control in this space, and I think we are, and this big announcement today I think is a step in the right direction, and I'm so excited to see what happens here, Mike.
Yeah, and you guys, this will be to me, just the tip of the spear where we turn now, and I'm going to be very aggressive going after all of them. If you guys know, this includes YouTube being the worst one, owned by Google, owned by Alphabet. Those guys have attacked me like you wouldn't believe. You can't find a normal My Pillow if you just went to YouTube and said Mike Lindell on YouTube and tried to find something on my recovery network, whatever. You're going to find Jimmy Kimmel attacks and this other creep over there that attacks every day. These guys attack every day, but at least I was able to get the word out over there on YouTube that they know that I'm still out there fighting. But the other thing is you have all these platforms, and people say, I get on other shows, they go, and this could affect you too. It affects everybody. I'm just in the public eye, and anyone I've talked to people all over the country, they're going, yeah, they did that to mine. I was just in Las Vegas doing a speech called Divine Intervention. I talked to all these people there. I, you know, you realize with computers on these things like Facebook, they can suppress even the smallest guy just for mentioning keywords like Jesus,
Yeah.
vaccine, against the vaccine, anything with elections they want to suppress. You just suppress it by keywords. That's probably how they went too far. Oh, this is what I was going to say, everybody. About I do remember now. I'm gonna I know we just have a few minutes. The reason I was bringing up Alan Duke, Allison, I reached out to Alan Duke and said, how could you do this to Lindell TV? You covered this up. He says, Mike, Facebook fired all their fact checkers. They fired them. They let them go. He's very upset with them. And he said, what they just did to Lindell TV gives fact checkers a bad name. Because Alan Duke believes that he really was, being fair and blah, blah, blah. But when he made a mistake like he did with Ben Carson, Facebook didn't, he just works for Facebook as a subcontractor. Facebook punished the person, even though he was found innocent, you know what I mean, of the Facebook fact checker. So Alan Duke is very much on our side on this issue, going, you have artificial intelligence or whatever you did. Now, I believe it was intentional. You punch in the keyword Lindell or Emerald Robinson. She was another one that definitely they're suppressing on our platform. And we have Rudy Giuliani, the mayor at night. You don't think they're suppressing his show? Come on, everybody. But you know what? So can you imagine the Facebook fact checkers of the past and Lindell TV go after Facebook Meta in its new artificial intelligence world? You guys see what really? I don't care if it's artificial intelligence or Mark Zuckerberg made the decision himself. We are up against an evil to suppress our voice like the world has never seen, and we have to win. So I'm going to leave you all with this. I want you to, if you can help out, go to mypillow.com, buy everything you can, use promo code L77. That's L77. You guys, we have our coffees back in. You can also use promo code L77 at mystore.com. Buy everything you can there. That's my platform for entrepreneurs, over 1,000 USA products. If you want to help out and save your country, mytrial.com. If you want to help people in addiction and help out that, it's lindellrecoverynetwork.org. So there's your 4 help points. And if you can't help at all, share. Tell everybody you can. Pray for us. Share Lindell TV. Tell everyone that's going to go on and spread the voice. Spread your voice, not just on one platform. Spread it on all the platforms. So there's a new voice, and it's the biggest voice, and we're here to stay. Lindell TV. Allison, God bless you, and you guys are awesome there out there. And like I said before, here at Lindell TV, we have the best 2 White House correspondents and Capitol correspondents that ever walked into that building. Good. So God bless you.
Thank you so much, Mike.
Yeah,
God
thanks.
bless you too.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
You ever see this guy with the pillows on Fox? My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell. He is the greatest. The My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell. And he's been with us right from the beginning.
Happened to the legendary Chuck Norris? Well, I recently saw a video he made and I was shocked. That guy's amazing and he's staying active well into his 80s. What's even more shocking